Josh, that's just to start with, what do you make of the situation of the match overall? How do you assess it?
Yeah, pretty happy. I think choosing to bowl first, we probably thought the wicket was going to do the most this morning with the new ball. So interesting wicket though. Didn't really have much pace and bounce. It sort of stayed low occasionally. A lot of balls didn't carry the keeper. But you felt there was enough there with the newish ball that just catch an edge or you could get a bowled or an LB. So enough there. Flattened out a little bit once the ball got softer. So that's probably the key for us, is getting through the next 15, 20 overs and then cashing in, I think, taking it deep with the bat.
So I suppose the hardest thing for you guys at the moment is taking the 10th wicket.
Well, in the bowls meeting, we go down to sort of 8 and 9 and then we probably should keep going, I think. So have a look at 10 and 11, but we've had a few issues there and some nice striking there at the end. So, yeah, we'll work on that.
Jokes aside, is it something you can think about? Any thoughts on why it hasn't quite worked out a couple of times?
Yeah, I think all the bowlers can just bat these days. Like it's, probably at the very start of my career, there was always sort of 10, 11 was pretty cruisy going, and now, 10 years on, it's a little bit different. They can all hang on to it. They've all got, good confidence. They've got a couple of shots, and often the best ball to the top 6 is probably the easiest ball to slog sometimes. So it's just maybe mixing it up a bit more. Obviously the bouncer plays a part. So it's just sequencing those balls, working them out. Even when it's a debutant as well, it's probably even more difficult. You don't know his strengths and weaknesses that well. So, but yeah, we'll have a look and come back something else.
Just on the decision to bowl first, so can you just take us through the process? Is that a group discussion, or is that Pat's gut feel, or how does that come about? There's not many captains win the toss here and bowl first.
No, it was probably mostly Pat, maybe a few senior players, have a word. Gazza obviously knows these conditions well. But mostly just Pat and Ronnie probably have a chat and think, is it going to get flatter? A lot of people play shield games here with the red ball, thinks it gets flatter as the game goes on. So the best time to probably take 10 wickets is straight up if we get it right. So I was happy to bowl today. It's a bit cooler today as well. Even though it was a bit windy, it was cooler with the heat sort of coming in later in the game potentially. So to get 10 today was backed up that decision.
What does 250 wickets mean for you, Josh? The rest of them in that group are already there, obviously, but to join that fraternity, how does that sit?
Yeah, someone's got to bring up the rear, I guess. A number doesn't really mean much to me, to be honest. It's just I never really look at milestones all that often. It's just about doing my role for the team each time I go and play, and try and keep my best and worst spell really close together, which I hope I can do, for the rest of my career as I've done, hopefully for the start. So, but yeah, don't look at numbers too much. Just putting that ball in the right area. I know it sounds cliche, but that's sort of my role for the team. Keep it dry, pick up the odd wicket, let a few of the other boys attack. So, yeah, it's good to get part of the group though.
Notwithstanding that wicket's a bit slower than you were expecting, is this one of your favourite places to bowl? When you've had a few of those magical spells up the Indian Test, is it just the grass cover, everything really suit you, do you think?
Yeah, I think it does. I love playing here. Pink or red ball, there's still enough. You just hang around that off stump, 5-6 metres, and there's enough there. It's like a nice thatchy grass, which a lot of the wobble seams just sort of grip, and there's just enough there all day. So yeah, I always enjoy playing here. I think it's a great stadium, and the wicket offers. You still see runs here, you see wickets, and I just feel like it's a really great place to play.
Josh, just as a fast bowler, looking at the young guys like Sharma making his debut, being a wicket with the first ball, what did he make of him? We saw 5 overs and then picked up another wicket as well.
Yeah, he brought a lot of energy today, I thought. Pretty good with the bat, obviously. Tail wagging there, picked up a few runs and pushed them up towards 200, and then with the ball, got 2 pretty big scalps in his first spell, and to get a wicket first ball, it's sort of a dream. So I think they'll sort of jump on the back of him from his efforts today, and he'll drag him forward.
Did you have any intel on him, particularly as a bat, but even as a bowler? Like when you talk about the bowlers being like, did you know anything about him as a batsman?
Not really, no. It's tough to find some footage of the debutants. We don't tend to look at number 11 all that often, but maybe we should, going off the last few weeks. But I'm sure the batters would have found some footage, definitely from last week's game, from first-class cricket. So it's pretty easy to get footage of him bowling for sure. Yeah.
Did you have to change your length to normal Adelaide lengths to hit the top off today? Did it need to be a little bit?
I felt actually on that wicket it was probably easier to hit the stumps than potentially a few of the other games here. The other sort of pink ball, when it's hard, it sort of seems to be nice carry, gets through over the stumps. So I felt today actually, Paddy's bowled, my bowled, they tend to sometimes bounce over. But yeah, I just felt that the odd ball, so at least one and over, probably didn't carry to the keeper. So yeah, interesting.
Just a different dynamic to the dressing room with Steve Smith out there, straight up. Not being restless and fidgety inside.
Yeah, well, he was. He thought he was going to have a bit of time because it was going to be tea time, but I think that was part of our plan to try and get him rushed and only have 10 minutes changeover. But no, I think he'll get used to that sort of stuff. He wasn't sure how long, tea. Do we take tea or do we keep bowling until they're all out, or how long do I get and all that sort of stuff? But no, he was fine. He looked pretty at home until he got out. But yeah, he'll learn those things.
How's your body going after a few tests in a row now?
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good. We luckily haven't bowled too many sort of big back-to-back days or long days in the dirt. We've sort of broken it up as best you possibly could, really. A couple of sort of early 30s and then a late 20 in Sydney, and then we've gotten through 15 or so here, and it feels like the perfect amount to have some really nice rhythm without sort of cooking yourself. So you don't always have that choice in Test cricket, but it's nice when it works out.
And having the big buckets back in the gully, how helpful is that?
He made those two catches look pretty easy, and they certainly weren't. The first one in particular, I reckon. Just looks like visually when you're running in and just having green at gully, it just looks like everything from third slip to point is going to get caught or stopped, and it's a nice feeling.